number 1. Cynthia O'Brien. There are many different philosophies on leadership. What are the most important things an effective leader does, and why do you feel those things are so important? There are many different philosophies on leadership. What are the most important things an effective leader does, and why do you feel those things are so important? Cynthia O'Brien.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. Leadership. That's a big word. What does it mean? In my world, I work in corporate America, and I see every day, when does the boss go home? Is the boss there in the morning at 7, maybe a little early? Are they available to answer questions? The woman that I work for, her name is Dr. Anne-Marie Salapatic. She is a toxicologist, and she works here in the country of Canada. And I followed her through my entire career. I changed my job 3 times in the last 10 years to follow this woman that exemplifies leadership. She's there in the morning, she's there at noon, she's there at night, she's there on the weekends. When I explained to Dr. Salapatic that I needed to take today off because this was an important day for me to attend Toastmasters, she said, Cynthia, I understand. We all have a life out of the corporate world, and this is important to you, and it's also a building block for what you do for your job. Last night, checking email late, the very last email, Dr. Salapatic says, Cynthia, good luck tomorrow. You're gonna do great. So when I think of a leader, I think of an individual who puts themselves forward. They're available, they're accessible, and they pave the way for the individual that I want to be someday when I'm in that position. Mr. Toastmaster.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's introduce contestant number 2. Roxanne Adams. There are many different philosophies on leadership. What are the most important things an effective leader does, and why do you feel those things are important? There are many different philosophies on leadership. What are the most important things an effective leader does, and why do you feel those things are so important? Roxanne Adams.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. A leader needs to be able to communicate. If you can't communicate, how do you know who to follow? A leader needs to be loyal, trustworthy. Why would you follow someone who you can't trust? A leader needs to know the facts in the matter, or at least know how to find them out. How many times have you been asked a question which you don't know the answer to? Did you stumble through it? Well, I think it's a... Or do you say, you know, it's a very good question. I don't know the answer, but I will find out and I will let you know. Communication has many forms, especially in this day and age. We have the internet. We have face-to-face, which is perhaps the most important means of communication. How many of you you believe everything you hear on the internet? I would say that face-to-face has to be the most important aspect of communications and a very important role of a good leader. And I would urge you all to join Toastmasters. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome contestant number 3 to the stage. Sharlene, Obembe. There are many different philosophies on leadership. What are the most important things an effective leader does, and why do you feel those things are so important? There are many different philosophies on leadership. What are the most important things an effective leader does, and why do you feel those things are so important? Sharlene, Obembe.
Thank you, Toastmaster. That is a great question, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. To be an effective leader, you need to take ownership of your people, the people that you are working with. And what you're trying to do is to create an environment where the people that you're working with want to join and partner with you. One of the things that I enjoy about Toastmasters is not only the speaking, but the leadership track, the way we encourage one another. And I always felt that the model of you have the clubs, you have 6 clubs in an area division. And I wish that our church community, for example, I'm a member of the Lutheran Church, and I always felt that, and it's going to happen, I know it's going to happen. You have so many churches in my neighborhood, and I always thought that it'd be so wonderful to have each pastor from all the local, make it like an area, Lutheran area, where people would get together to pray for one another, to help one another, to have ownership of our environment and our people and our community. I think that is the most important form of leadership, for your members to know that they can respect you, if they want to be a part of you, that they will sacrifice their time to partner with the greater good. That is what effective leadership is. And effective leadership, I believe, starts with the ground roots. For example, I really appreciate the leadership in the small towns in Minnesota, when you have the mayors, and the mayors get together. And that is wonderful, and I think that is the way we should have leadership. So my leadership model is grassroots. That is the best way to have leadership, from the bottom up, not the top down. And so to be an effective leader is to empower your people, the individuals, for the collective good of all.